Africa, a continent of 54 countries, 30 million square kilometers, over 1 billion people, and somewhere within it, some of the most breathtaking, most humbling, most extraordinary places this planet has ever produced. These are not just tourist destinations, these are places that change people, places that travelers visit once and spend the rest of their lives trying to get back to. Today, we're exploring 5 of them. This is Africa, and this is just the beginning. Northern Tanzania, a landscape so open, so raw, so alive that the word wilderness feels like an understatement. This is the Serengeti, one of the oldest and most celebrated ecosystems on Earth. It covers over 30,000 square kilometers of open grassland. That is roughly the size of Belgium, except instead of cities and motorways, there are lions, leopards, elephants, and 2 million wildebeest. Let that number sink in. 2 million. Because twice every year, these animals, along with hundreds of thousands of zebras and gazelles, move in a massive loop between Tanzania and Kenya, following the rains, following the grass. Scientists call it the greatest wildlife spectacle on Earth, the Great Wildebeest Migration. When the herds reach the Mara River, everything changes. The current is brutal. Nile crocodiles, some of the largest on the continent, wait in the shallows, patient and still. And the wildebeest have no choice but to jump in. Some make it to the other side, some do not. It is raw, it is honest. It is nature operating exactly as it has for millions of years, completely indifferent to human comfort. And witnessing it in person is an experience that simply cannot be replicated anywhere else on Earth. But the Serengeti is not only about the migration. On any given morning, a game drive here delivers something extraordinary. The Big 5, lion, leopard, elephant, buffalo, and rhino, all call this place home. Cut to a pride of lions resting under an acacia tree. One lifts its head briefly, then settles again. Lions drape themselves across sun-warmed rocks as if they own the world, because here they do. Leopards ghost through the bush, cheetahs launch into full sprint across open ground, elephant families move together in slow, dignified processions. And the Serengeti is enormous, genuinely, almost incomprehensibly large, which means that even at peak season there are vast stretches of this wilderness where no other vehicle can be seen, where the silence is total, where it feels like the world belongs entirely to the animals. For those who visit, guides in the Serengeti often offer walking safaris, stepping out of the vehicle entirely and moving through the bush on foot. No engine, no steel between visitor and wilderness, just the earth underfoot and the sounds of Africa all around. It is the kind of experience that fundamentally shifts something in a person. The Serengeti does not simply entertain, it reminds. It reminds anyone who stands within it that humans are not the main characters of this planet, and that this ancient, extraordinary world got along perfectly well for millions of years before we arrived. Hear that sound? That is Victoria Falls, and no recording, no photograph, no video has ever done it justice. Straddling the border of Zambia and Zimbabwe, Victoria Falls is one of the 7 natural wonders of the world, and standing at its edge, that title feels entirely earned. The falls stretch 1.7 kilometers in width. The drop is 108 meters, over 350 feet straight down. During peak flow, more than 500 million liters of water pour over this edge every single minute. The sound alone can be heard from 40 kilometers away. The Kololo people of the region have their own name for it, Mosi Oa Tunya. The mist rises so high and falls so consistently that it has created its own micro-rainforest along the gorge, a strip of dense, dripping jungle that exists entirely because of the waterfall's breath. Visitors walk through it completely drenched within seconds, and every single one of them is smiling. For the adventure seekers, Victoria Falls is a playground unlike any other. Bungee jumping off the Victoria Falls Bridge, a free fall of 111 meters above the Zambezi River. White water rafting through Class 5 rapids in the gorge below, the maximum grade for commercially operated rafting in the world. Ziplining, gorge swings, micro-light flights directly over the falls at sunrise. And for those who prefer their adventure a little more serene, a sunset cruise on the Zambezi River is one of the finest experiences in southern Africa. The river widens here. Hippos bob in the shallows. Elephants come down to drink at dusk. The sun drops behind the tree line in bands of copper and gold. Then there is Devil's Pool. During the dry season, a natural rock barrier forms at the very edge of the falls, creating a natural pool where swimmers can wade out and look straight down into the gorge 108 meters below. It is, by almost any measure, the most extreme natural swimming pool on Earth. The best time to visit is April through June, just after the rainy season, when the Zambezi is running at full strength and the falls are at their most thunderous. But the truth is, any month, any season, any weather, Victoria Falls stops people in their tracks. Every single time. After the thunder of Victoria Falls, silence. Welcome to the Okavango Delta, one of the most extraordinary ecosystems anywhere on the planet. And what makes it extraordinary starts with a geographic fact that sounds almost impossible. The Okavango flows inward. Every year, millions of liters of water pour down from the highlands of Angola, travel over 1,000 kilometers, and then, instead of reaching the ocean, spread out into the heart of the Kalahari Desert, creating a vast, shimmering inland oasis. 16,000 square kilometers of wetland in the middle of one of the driest regions of southern Africa. It is a place that should not exist, and yet, here it is. And all of that water draws life from every direction. Botswana is home to the largest elephant population in the world. During the dry season, up to 50,000 elephants gather around the river systems of northern Botswana, the largest concentration of African elephants anywhere on Earth. Watching a family herd move together through the delta, communicating through rumbles felt more than heard, the matriarch leading, the calves stumbling through the shallows, is one of those wildlife encounters that leaves people fundamentally changed. Hippos surface and sink in the channels, leopards claim tree branches as their personal thrones. Wild dogs, one of Africa's most endangered carnivores, with only around 6,000 remaining in the wild, hunt in coordinated packs across the floodplains. And beneath the water's surface, the delta teems with fish, crocodiles, and hundreds of bird species, including the African fish eagle, whose haunting call has become the unofficial sound of the African wilderness. The traditional way to experience the delta is by mokoro, a dugout canoe. guided by a local polar who navigates the waterways in near-perfect silence. No engine, no noise, nothing but the soft push of the pole and the sound of water parting around the hull. It is slow, it is quiet, it feels ancient, and it is completely, utterly unforgettable. Botswana has made a deliberate choice with its tourism approach: high value, low volume, fewer visitors, more exclusive access, a deeper, more intimate relationship with the wilderness. There are no crowds here, no souvenir stalls, no noise, just the delta, ancient, vast, and alive. The Okavango Delta was declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 2014, and once seen from above, the reason is immediately, overwhelmingly clear. Nothing alive, nothing moving, nothing green, just color, just silence, just scale. This is Sossusvlei, located deep within Namibia's Namib-Naukluft National Park, and it is one of the most visually stunning landscapes on the face of the earth. The Namib Desert is the oldest desert in the world, somewhere between 55 and 80 million years old. These dunes existed before the dinosaurs went extinct. And the dunes themselves are enormous. Some of the tallest sand dunes anywhere on Earth, rising over 300 meters from their base. That is nearly the height of the Eiffel Tower. Made entirely of sand, their color comes from iron oxide, rust, and the older the dune, the deeper and richer the red. Some of these dunes have been building and shifting for 5 million years. The most famous dune in the region is called Dune 45, named simply because it sits 45 kilometers from the park entrance. Every morning before sunrise, visitors make the climb, and at the top, the light does something here that it does nowhere else on Earth. As the sun rises, the colors of the dunes shift through an entire spectrum. Deep violet in the earliest moments, then burning orange, then blazing gold, all within the space of a few minutes. And the shadows that the dunes cast across each other create shapes of such perfect geometry that they look designed, engineered, deliberate. And then, just beyond Sossusvlei, there is Deadvlei, a white clay pan, surrounded by enormous red dunes, and scattered across its pale floor, the skeletal remains of ancient trees. These are camel thorn acacias that died approximately 700 years ago when the water source that fed them dried up. But the desert air is so dry, so preserving, that the trees never decomposed. They simply stopped, black, twisted, ancient, still standing. Against the white pan and the red dunes and the sharp blue sky, they create one of the most photographed and most otherworldly images in all of Africa. When the sun goes down, Namibia reveals one final wonder. As one of the least densely populated countries on Earth, with almost no light pollution across vast stretches of its interior, Namibia's night skies are among the clearest and most spectacular anywhere on the planet. The Milky Way is not a suggestion here. It is a presence, a river of light so bright and so detailed that people who grew up in cities often see it for the first time in their lives and simply stand there, unable to move. Sossusvlei is a place that empties the mind, and in its emptiness fills something else entirely. After the savannah, after the falls, after the wetlands and the desert, this, Zanzibar, an archipelago of islands sitting off the coast of Tanzania in the Indian Ocean, and one of the most beautiful places on Earth. The water here is an almost impossible shade of blue-green, clear and warm, and so transparent that the coral reefs 10 meters below the surface are visible from above. Sea turtles drift through these waters, whale sharks pass through in season, and at low tide, the ocean retreats to reveal sandbars that appear from nowhere, white sand rising from turquoise shallows in the middle of the Indian Ocean. It looks like something from a film. It is not. But Zanzibar is far more than a beach. This island has stood at the crossroads of civilizations for over 2,000 years. Arab traders, Persian merchants, Portuguese navigators, Indian spice merchants, East African cultures, Omani sultans, each passed through. Each left their mark. The result is a culture and an architecture that exists nowhere else on Earth. Stone Town, Zanzibar's historic capital and a UNESCO World Heritage Site, is a labyrinth of narrow lanes, ancient mosques, crumbling coral stone buildings, rooftop terraces, and hidden courtyards. Wandering through Stone Town in the late afternoon, when the light turns golden and the call to prayer drifts across the rooftops, is to walk through layers of history so dense they can almost be felt. As evening falls, Stone Town's waterfront comes alive at the Forodhani night market. Vendors grill Zanzibar lobster, octopus, and freshly caught fish right in front of visitors. Sugarcane is pressed into juice on the spot. Zanzibari pizza, a local street food unlike anything found elsewhere, sizzles on flat irons. The air smells of smoke and spice and ocean. The atmosphere is warm and crowded and completely electric. And then there are the spices. For centuries, Zanzibar was known simply as the Spice Island, one of the world's most important exporters of cloves, cinnamon, cardamom, nutmeg, black pepper, and vanilla. Spice farm tours take visitors through working tropical gardens where guides pull cloves directly from branches, peel fresh cinnamon bark, crack open nutmeg seeds, and the smell that fills the air is something rich and warm and ancient. And always, always, the island returns to the sea, to that turquoise water, to that white sand, to that sky at the end of the day, turning every shade between pink and gold before the stars take over. Zanzibar asks very little of the people who visit, only that they slow down, only that they stay a little longer, and almost everyone does. 5 places, 5 completely different worlds. The Serengeti, where the greatest wildlife show on Earth plays out across a landscape that stretches to every horizon. Victoria Falls, where the force of a continent's water throws itself into a gorge and shakes the ground beneath every visitor's feet. The Okavango Delta, where a river that refuses to reach the sea creates an oasis of life in the middle of the desert. Sossusvlei, where ancient dunes burn red against blue sky, and the silence is so complete it becomes a sound of its own. And Zanzibar, where the Indian Ocean meets 1,000 years of history on an island that rewards anyone who finds their way to its shores. Africa is not a single story. It is 1,000 stories told simultaneously in 100 languages across a continent so vast and so varied that no single journey will ever capture all of it. But these 5 places, these 5 extraordinary corners of one extraordinary continent, are a place to start.